clear. So Al-Bayyina, no joking around back there, ladies. Al-Bayyina means literally mubin, bana shay. So bana, yubin, and bayyina, it is to clarify something. Someone said, one lady said, it's a clear evidence. Is that what you said? Clear evidence. Here it's more general. It's just to make something, to clarify something, to make it perfectly clear. No, that's what bayyina means. So to make things clear. But let's go on. What's the name in English? It says we'll say clarify, to make something clear. Clarity. Just in a word, clarity, or to make something clear. What's its placement?
98.
What's that?
98.
What does it mean by placement? Right, it's placed 98th in the Quran. It's the 98th surah in the Quran. Now let's get down to what this surah claims. Okay, just based on this poem here, we learn a few things. We learn that this surah, when it says Al-Bayyina, to make things clear, what does that really referring to? Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. We'll get through that as we go through the surah, okay? But it really means Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And it tells us something else, that these 8 ayat were read to whom? Ubay ibn Ka'ab is the man here. Ubay ibn Ka'ab. Say Ka'ab. Ka'ab. Okay? So, these 2 things that it mentions here about this surah, we're going to go through it, insha'Allah, ayat for ayat. May I see your Muslim, please? And we're going to talk about this surah in a little detail. It starts off by saying, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لم يكن الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب والمشركين منفكين حتى تأتيهم البينة. Okay, yeah, thank you. It says, Lam yakun, everybody knows this surah. Everybody's familiar. It's a very short surah, 8 ayat. Everybody's pretty familiar with it, right? Lam yakun alladhina kafaru min ahli al-kitabi wal mushrikina munfakkina hatta ta'tiyahumul bayyina. It says, Lam yakun, it wasn't the fact that, Lam yakun alladhina kafaru, that those who were kafirs, those disbelievers, min ahli al-kitab. So it breaks it down. First it says that these people were disbelievers, okay? Then it says the disbelievers are of 2 types here. Min ahl al-kitab. Everybody say ahl al-kitab. Who is ahl al-kitab? Al-Yahudu wa Nasara. What'd you say? The people of the book. What book? So then who are the people of the book? Jews and Christians, okay? Here it's referring to Jews and Christians. So it says that the disbelievers, it says, Lam yakun alladhina kafaru. It wasn't the fact, it wasn't that the people who were kafirs, the disbelievers, min ahl al-kitabi wal mushrikina. Then it says mushrikina. Now the ulama talk about this right here. It says, first of all, ahl al-kitab are the Jews and the Christians, right? Those who call themselves Christians and those who are Jews. Then a special mention is made for the mushrikeen. What does it mean by the mushrikeen? If we know already that the Jews and the Christians make shirk, right? Don't we? What's shirk? To associate partners. The ladies are much swifter than the men. To associate partners with Allah. That's what the Jews and Christians. So then why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mention again the mushrikeen?
This mushrikeen is for the people Arab who were don't believe in the Ahl al-Kitab, but they are mushrikeen also.
Okay, it's not, as Shawkani says, I keep pointing to this principle of tafsir. Shawkani said the meaning is not just tied to a particular person or place. It's general. So it's all those people who are not people of the book, who are not the people who have been gotten, the Christians or the Jews, who are also making shirk, like the Buddhists, like the Hindus, like the different people who do the different things that they do around the world, that this covers them too. Okay? These are one type, the people who are people of the book in their shirk and their kufr. And this is the second type, those people who are also disbelievers who make the shirk just like those sites. Name another religion that's well known. Besides, I think Buddhism and Hinduism covers a lot of people. You know, and then you have the Christian Jews. Name something else. Taoism, Taoism. Somebody name another. Catholicism is a part of Ahl al-Kitab, even though they veered drastically from it. But it's still considered Ahlul Kitab, okay? Does anybody else have another name of a deen? Confucianism and these types of things. Okay. Hare Krishna and these types of things. This covers all those type of weirdo guys that come up with these new things after 100 years and everything. That they're all covered, okay? لم يكن الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب والمشركين منفكين. Munfakina is another word where the ulama talk about. This word munfakina, okay? Everybody say this word, munfakina. It's from the word fakka, okay? Fakka in Arabic is like Egyptian slang to give you. I see the sheikh is laughing. You remember and fakka? You know, it's to get change. Okay, to break some, it's to cut something into pieces or to make change from it or to split apart. Okay, what the ulama talk about this, they say that the Christians and the people, all these different people were together in wanting and saying that a messenger was coming. They were to, hey, when this messenger comes, we're going to follow him. Everybody says that, right? And then when the messenger came, they divided, they started disbelieving in him, and they started to say, some of the ulama say that the reason why they separated with him, hasaduhu, they were jealous of him, they started hating him. Just like we see in modern times, you go to many of the masajid, and they say, oh, we want somebody to come to teach, we want some imam to come, we want some leadership. But when that imam comes, when that leadership comes and he starts to sell them things that they don't like, then they hate him. They want to get rid of him. And they don't want to support him. But on a greater level, this is what happened to the Prophet. So then here, Munfakina, they started to divide now with regards to the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and take different stances as to why they were not going to follow the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay? And I made a mistake. I started a little backwards. I should go back to the beginning. Fadlu hadhihi surah. The benefit or the grandeur of this surah comes down. This surah was revealed, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to Ubay ibn Ka'b. Ubay ibn Ka'b was a Sahabi, one of the people who memorized the Quran in the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he recited this surah to Ubay, and he said, "Inna Allah amarani an aqra'a alayka al-Quran." He said, Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, Allah has ordered me to recite upon you the Quran. So Ubay ibn Ka'b radiyallahu anhu said, Samani, he mentioned me. Allah mentioned me. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, yes. And he burst into tears. He burst into tears and started to cry. So this is the surah, because here Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, he told me to recite upon you the Quran. And he only recited this to him. So we learned from this a principle that if you mention he recited the Quran, it doesn't mean he recited the whole Quran to somebody, right? Like the Imam was up here earlier, he was teaching, he was reciting to you the Quran. Someone would say, he recited to them the whole Quran? No. Saying that doesn't mean he recited the whole thing, meaning he recited some portion of it. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. So this is what's mentioned about this surah. And hopefully you can remember that about this surah. About Ubay ibn Ka'b. And it's mentioned in the poem. What does he say? He said, these 8 ayah read to Ubay. That's Ubay ibn Ka'b. Write that down in your notes if you wrote the poem down. I don't know if they're making copies in there or anything like that. Yes. Okay, so, but write it on your book anyway. Your pen they say your handwriting is the most beloved handwriting to you after your father's. So write it down, okay? These 8 ayah were read to Ubay. Now we come back to Munfakina. Now the people separated after the Prophet ﷺ came, and they were jealous of him, and they chose what they were going to choose with regards to that. Then it says, لَمْ يَكُنِ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ وَالْمُشْرِكِينَ مُنْفَكِينَ حَتَّى تَأْتِيَهُمُ الْبَيِّنَةُ. It says, until it came to them the Bayyina. The Bayyina, we say, is a clear evidence, right? حُجَّةٌ وَاضِحَةٌ. Clear, leaving no doubt about something. Then Allah doesn't just leave it there. He follows it up. We call it Atf al-Bayan. Atf al-Bayan, as we spoke about this principle before, it is to follow up a statement, a general statement, with a clarifying statement, making it clear what you were talking about. Just like I said, I saw your brother today, Muhammad. Okay? Because you have 4 brothers, let's say, for example. You clarify, I saw your brother, Muhammad.